Hi. So it's February, and I thought it's a good time to have a little touch base on the relationship subject. So when I first started making these videos, I did a couple of videos on the mirror of life, and and how that basically whatever is going on within us is what we're attracting into our world, and I thought it's a good time to kind of bring it back to life, this subject, because the main three reasons why people come to work with me are one, their career, as in they feel like they're climbing up a down escalator and it feels really like a struggle, and they want to bring in all that they're hearing about these days, mindfulness and energy and all that stuff. And more intuition, and we hear about all these successful people, they always trace it back to intuition. So that's one of the reasons. But the second biggest reason that people come to work with me is relationship stuff. And that's where, they either want to leave something, or they're struggling within something, or, and they, they almost want my approval, to be like, yeah, you'll be fine. But actually, that's not what it's about, because the work ends up being about figuring out the mirror of life and why we have certain things happening in our world. So a client, for instance, can come to me with a situation where she feels, she's super driven, and she keeps attracting lazy people into her teams, even though they're super qualified. And even though, so then we have to work as to why these people keep coming into her world when she's so driven and ambitious and successful. So I'm all about taking the power back. Nothing is actually happening to us. Life is actually for us. And the way it works is that if you spot it, you've got it. So one of the exercises that I've always asked people to practice is to take a piece of paper down and write down, find two people in their world, one that they think super highly of, and one that they think has traits that are really abominable, not something they really don't like. And basically take the top three traits of the one that they think is amazing, and the top worst traits of the one that they think has these traits that they just do not like. And when you write it down, you look at those six qualities, three amazing and three not, and you have to take the responsibility to understand that if you spot it, you've got it. And if it's good, it's that there's a part of you that wants to come out. Their greatness, their passion, their charm, their whatever. That's a part of you that actually is wants to emerge more fully. And the other parts, the parts that are pretty awful to us, are also a part of us, and they are the disowned parts of us. So they are the parts of us that Carl Jung called the shadow parts of us, and they're the parts of us that essentially we think are so awful that we don't want to, we would bury them down. So in the case of the person attracting all these lazy people, we had to take the word lazy and give it a positive meaning. And so lazy then became relaxed, chilled out, probably quite healthy, will live to be 100. And essentially those are characteristic traits that would probably benefit the super ambitious, driven person. And the way it works is that we have, like I said, we have our parts of us that we're very proud of, and we have the shadow parts that we think are abominable. But life is always driving us to reach a balance, to bring out all the parts of us, and to accept every part of us. And so the parts that we're looking at someone else and judging quite harshly are usually a part of us that is trying to come out to balance out another part. And in that case, if you're driven and ambitious and so, then having a part that's more chilled out and relaxed is good for your health. It's good for your relationships. It's good for the relationships within the team. It's good for everything. It's good for intuition, because intuition comes in the silence between thoughts. That's why I'm always talking about meditation and the benefits of sitting for a little moment and breathing and just being in the silence, because intuition can whisper in the silence, in the moments when we're actually paying attention, because a lot of times we're in go mode, so we're actually missing some ideas that are trying to reach us. And when successful people always come back to, it was a hunch, it was a gut feeling, I had an intuition, this is what they're talking about. But to access that needs, the walk in the park, or the moment in the bubble bath, or the moment moment where you sit in silence and make sure your phone is switched off and you get to breathe. So anytime that someone is triggering something within you, whether it's your personal relationship, a work relationship, a relationship with your child, with your parent, with whomever, always come back to see that thing that's being triggered. Give it a more positive stance. So stingy would become someone who is conscientious about their money, takes care of their finances. Maybe that's something that needs to come out of you to balance out a part of you that's super generous and super. So basically, always find the positive angle of that negative trait and bring it out in you. And once you do, then the outside world either matches you, because we are who we attract. So matches you. So these people who are lazy, stingy, whatever, change and they join you in a value that you, in a quality that you value, or they disappear from your world and you can bring in people who are more like you. But there isn't a part of you that's kind of so shut down and doesn't want that. And in the case of my client, she was able to balance that out by enjoying more relaxing activities. And at a time when things were being checked out in her health, she was able to look after her health. And I always think, slow down to speed up. And this is what these moments of reflections allow you. They allow you a moment to slow down and catch up with you so that you can correct the little imbalances here and there. So I hope this message serves you. I think it's a very powerful, it's a very empowering message because it brings the power back to you. So whatever's happening in your world is actually happening for you rather than to you. And if you are interested in discovering more of that, in my book, Tap Into Miracles, the relationships chapter actually covers all sorts of relationships, from tyrants to soul family, and it's a great chapter. I really like it. It's very rich, and it will give you a lot of understanding, a deeper understanding of what's actually happening in the relationships that are in your world, and also the relationships that you're wanting to call into your world. So I love that. And remember that when you grab a copy of Tap Into Miracles, wherever you buy it, on Amazon, at Waterstones, and Barnes and Noble, online, in the bookstore, remember that when you go on my site on Rania.world and you go into Tap Into Miracles, you can actually claim a gift. So you just keep your receipt number handy, and you just input that in. And when you submit it to us, you'll basically receive a workshop, which is the Unraveling Your Creative Genius workshop. And I love that workshop because it's kind of bringing out the creative you in whatever way, whether it's in your cooking, your gardening, your building, it could be just your hobby thing. But when we bring in our creative, the creative part of us, we're coming back to the part of us that's inspired, in the spirit. You're basically lighting that candle from within and going back to your interests, your intrinsic interests, which is what Dr. Maria Montessori discussed, the interests that we come into the world with. So we have them when we're 5, we have them when we're 50, we have them when we're 80. They're the same interests. We're Google searching them. We're looking for this conversation. So in that workshop, I help you sort of focus on your mind so that you can bring that part of you into the equation. And when you bring that part of you in the equation, your inner candle begins to light up, and your energy lights up, and it's amazing. It's magnetic in your business, and it's magnetic in your personal life. So it's always a good thing to light that candle from the inside out. I hope this is helpful. I hope this message serves you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a lovely day. Bye.